welcome back to my channel. If you are new here and like the video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button for more content. Thank you for watching. Hello everybody, welcome back to the second day of the winter marathon. We are obviously going to be showing the Allergy prank featuring OsaSuna, SemiShira, and TsukiYama. Alright, let's go ahead and get to it. This was going to be fun. See, Osamu secretly still had a grudge for Suna's first prank. He genuinely went overboard. Not to mention, his own revenge went wrong in every way possible. He was secretly glad that he was able to save Tsukiyama from getting severely injured. He just knew he would never hear the end of it by Atsumu. Plus, his twin deserved to be happy. If something were to happen to him, at least Tsukiyama would stay by his side. That will never change, and he knows it. Samu? The younger twin turned towards his lover, who has casted a worried glance at him. Yes, Rin? I've been calling for you. Is there something up? Suna shoved his phone into his pocket and reached for the spiker's hand. No, sorry. I just got lost in thought. He yelped, feeling gravity take him down to the ground before the raven was able to reach out to catch him. He fell into a bush of plants sprouting from the ground. He heard a beautiful laughter from up above. Osamu squinted his eyes, seeing Suna's outline through the sun. It was finally a proven fact. Suna was an angel. Are you okay? He said in between laughter, already offering his hand and pulling the twin up to his feet. After a moment, the laughing ceased and he studied the plants where his lover fell. I mean, yeah, I guess. Okay for someone who fell into a bush. I got lucky that it wasn't a thorn bush. What are you doing? Tell me, are you allergic to poison ivy? Osamu snorted, like he would know that. I've never seen it before, so I guess not. The older frowned, not sufficed with his answer. Just let me know if something feels off. Okay, Rin. They continued the walk to Suna's house, where they would both spend the night. Suna was the first to wake up, snuggling close to his lover. The latter was still warm, still underneath the covers with his arms draped over the middle blocker protectively. He smiled sleepily, snuggling closer into his lover's chest, paying close attention to the slow and steady breathing patterns through the rising of his chest. He stared at the bare ceiling, feeling a sudden urge to use the bathroom, yet didn't move to keep this enchanting moment lasting a little longer. From the corner of his vision, he saw a nasty red blotch on his lover's arm. Making sure to take a double look, it was sure enough a growing rash developing on his skin. Samu? He met the twin's face, seeing the same rash form up his neck. The sight scared him, making the older shake Osamu, trying his best to wake him. Osamu, wake up! The taller groaned, shoving his face into his pillow. Rin, just a little longer. No, Samu, I'm serious. You need to wake up. The slight edge in his voice made the spiker's eyelids peer open. He sat up lazily, rubbing his eyes and scratched at his arm. No, don't do that. The middle blocker yanked at his arm, preventing him from doing so. In his half-asleep daze, Osamu's confusion only grew. I think you're having an allergic reaction, so just... Allergic reaction? He cut him off. Yeah, from the poison ivy. Suna pressed his hand against his lover's forehead, smacking his lips when he caught trace of a small fever. Does your head hurt? Well, a little bit, but it's not that serious. Suna stumbled out of bed, running out of the room before coming back with a few supplies. He started applying an ointment on his arm where there was a big red splotch. While it did help relieve the burning itch, there was definitely more to this. Whoa, Rin, honey, calm down. It's okay. No, it's not! Osamu thinned his lips into a tight line, seeing Suna's eyes begin to brim with tears. He stayed silent, afraid to push him over the edge even further. Just, please let me do this. Osama nodded his head, stripping himself of his shirt to let the raven rub the ointment onto his skin. After everything was applied, and Suna collected himself, he took in a shuddered breath and spoke. It's how my dad died. Osuma's gray eyes widened like he had seen a ghost. For his work, he would clear out land for construction later on, and they would burn a lot of plants and trees to rid of them. He shifted around, fidgeting with his fingers. Well, one of those piles unknowingly contained an insane amount of poison ivy, and he inhaled the toxic smoke. He died a day later with respiratory problems. We didn't even know what happened. He just died. He quickly brushed away a tear and looked away. Osamu was speechless. He'd never seen his father, yet never thought much about it. He thought that there just wasn't a father in the picture to begin with, but everyone has their own stories. Osamu quickly pulled his lover into his arms. I'm so sorry, Rin. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. He hadn't even received a chance to pick out a prank, but if he were able to turn back time, he would have just dropped it altogether. Osamu rocked the smuller back and forth in an attempt to soothe him. Suna sniffled, leaving his arms and laughed, wiping a tear. Sorry, I still need to get you medicine for that fever. Don't apologize, love. He placed a small kiss onto the middle blocker's forehead. Everything is okay. Why is everybody going wrong? Honestly, this is getting a little out of hand. How do you think I feel? Yeah. Anyways. Well, there he goes, running away from this situation just like his real-life problems. So mean, Tsuki. Don't call me that. I say Semi goes next. What? It seems we have a winner. Semi set his phone down, leaning back in the couch. It was very soft, making the soft cushion on his tense back. It truly hasn't been the same since his last accident, but he's making the most of it. Both him and Shirabu were sitting, watching a movie together for a home date. This was the most they could do for now, given he was still having trouble pushing himself to go farther out. The younger was super understanding and helped him in any way he could. He loved him for that. He adjusted his position on the couch with the smuller immediately turning his attention from the TV and looked at Semi, who leaned into Shirabu's lap and sniffled. Are you crying for the movie? Semi chuckled. Of course he would think that. No, I think the pollen is just getting bad. There it was. He initiated the beginning of the prank. A pollen allergy could affect anybody, but it was simple enough not to worry the younger. The brunette frowned. Semi sniffled again, rubbing his face into his lower stomach like he was hiding away. Semi? He ran his fingers through the ash blonde locks, which felt a lot softer than he would have imagined. Do you feel sick? The setter reached over, grabbing the remote to pause the movie. The older only whined into his stomach. Why didn't you tell me sooner? There was a hint of annoyance laced in his voice, yet didn't push any further. He felt guilty that he had insisted on watching a movie. Of course pollen had to ruin the fun. But that didn't matter. What mattered was making sure that Semi was okay. Shirabu giggled at the clinginess of the older whenever he got sick. There were a few times at the hospital whenever his body would react to the medication and he would fall ill. That is whenever Shirabu first discovered how he was whenever the older got sick. Come on, Ita, he said in a much more gentler tone, trying to pull the ladder off of his stomach. No, he whined, squeezing tighter onto his waist. Geez, if you squeeze any tighter, there won't be anything left of me. He felt the older's grip loosen and sit up. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. He laughed, standing up. Wait, where are you going? The taller tilted his head in confusion, making the smaller smile fondly at his boyfriend. I'll be back in a minute, just go lay down. Before the older setter had time to respond, Shirabu was already out the door. Okay then. He chuckled to himself and lay down on the couch. Even though he wasn't really reacting to the pollen, he did still have trouble staying awake for long hours, so he welcomed the chance to take a nap. He closed his eyes and felt his consciousness ebbing away and gave in to his exhaustion. Ida? The voice was so beautiful, calming, and... Ida, come on, it's time to wake up now. Semi peeled his eyes open with force, seeing the outline of his lover in his line of sight. Kenjuro. Hey, how are you feeling? The taller grumbled, still trying to shake the sleep, completely unaware of the prank he was currently hosting. After hearing no response, the younger lifted up a small bag. I got some medicine to help with your allergies. They should help. I wasn't sure what to get, but thankfully the store clerk was really helpful. He smiled with a slight rose blush dust over his cheeks. Semi could have swore he'd fallen in love all over again. Although, if this isn't the right stuff and is actually toxic to you, don't blame me, it was the store clerk's fault. And there goes the moment. Semi pulled the smaller on top of him, receiving a well-deserved yelp and a slight punch in the chest. Semi, stop! I haven't given you your medicine yet. Don't worry, it's just a prank. Where he once was squirming, Shirabu grew still and slumped into his boyfriend's embrace. That isn't fair. Well, neither is pretending to be blind. The smeller grumbled, lightly throwing his fist onto his lover's chest continuously. I'm going to get you back for this. Okay, I'll be waiting. He smiled, taking in the scent of Shirabu's hair that smelled like the scent of his shampoo before closing his eyes. Let's just go to sleep. The brunette set his head down. Okay. He was so soft. It was weird. No, it was adorable. You really can't argue with Bo. Is he wrong though? That was assuring that this prank just won't be gone wrong and accidents involved. The fluff was just what I needed. Anyways, before you get somebody else to, I'm going next. How interesting. Truly. No, it's not what you think. I'm just not given a choice. The blonde rolled his eyes, shoving his phone into his pocket, facing his current problem. For what may be pleasant to others, Tsukishima's nose would crinkle at the smell of perfume and cologne. Now, he wouldn't say he was allergic to the fumes, but rather very sensitive to the smell. So the worst place he could be is in a store that sells just that for the majority. He wasn't even sure how he got wrapped up into this mess, but certainly wasn't complaining, if we exclude the fact he sneezes every 2 seconds. Alright, King, how much longer do we have to be in this hellhole? The setter glared at the taller before turning his attention back to the jar in his hands. Not much longer, you know the deal. He rolled his eyes, glancing around the shop. The deal was, if the middle blocker helped the latter with picking out the right perfume for his sister's upcoming birthday, then the setter will help him in this prank. Here, smell this. He rolled his eyes, snatching the jar of perfume from his hands, taking a big whiff of it, resulting in a painful sneeze. There. It's half decent. He wiped his nose. The setter just rolled his eyes like it was the game they were secretly playing, walking over to the checkout. Finally, at least I can get this stupid prank over with. He took the first free moment available to run out of the toxic building, relieved for fresh oxygen, waiting for the younger to walk out. Within a few minutes, TsukiYama emerged from the building with a bag in his hands. Alright, give me your phone. What? Why would they do that, King? The shorter grumbled. Look, do you want my help or not? Tsukishima groaned before giving up his phone. The raven played around with it for several minutes, making the teller more agitated by the minute. Just what are you... Oh hey, Yamaguchi. The blonde froze and paled. What are you... What, Four Eyes? Sorry, he can't come to the phone right now. I have him running an errand for me. Tsukishima smacked his lips, coming to the conclusion that the latter wouldn't listen and leaned in close, hearing in on the conversation. Oh? What type of errand? Just a quick stop to get my sister some perfume. The line was silent. Poor Suki, he must be sneezing like crazy. Yeah, I kind of noticed that. He interrupted him. What do you mean? Well, my cousin is sensitive to strong scents like that. He has an allergy and even suffers from asthma attacks. I think that might be his case. Tsukishima's eyes widened. What in the hell was he thinking? Was he trying to traumatize his lover? Then why did you send him in? Don't worry, I'm about to go retrieve him. I wasn't thinking clearly and only thought to ask if you know. I'm not too sure. If he does, he's never mentioned it to me. I don't want to risk anything though. TsukiYama grinned. That's understandable. He stopped and backed away from the blonde, making his eyebrow arch in confusion. What are you... TsukiYama? The raven swung his leg back and released all of his strength into a devastating blow on the shin, making him yell out and fall to the ground. Tsukishima? He crouched down, making sure Yamaguchi could hear her struggle breaths, implying he was having an allergic reaction, when in actuality it was him trying to ease the pain in his shin. What is... He was cut off and the younger hung up the phone. The blonde stared up from the ground in horror. What in the actual hell had he done? No, this is what is to be expected, asking for help from the dictator king. TsukiYama handed his phone back to Kei, who snatched it from his hands. What did you do? I fulfilled my part of the prank. A bruised shin and a heart attack from the latter is his way of doing his part? You're more of an idiot than I thought. Did you forget the part that I want him to still like me afterwards? TsukiYama shrugged. Oh, he was so going to get his revenge. Even if the shrimp was the one who got caught in the crossfire, after all, his precious yams was the victim this time. Kei! The blonde spun around, meeting his lover's warm yet frantic dark eyes. Tadashi? He scattered up from the ground, running towards the smeller and wrapped Yamaguchi into a tight hug, who was partially sobbing for both panic and relief. Are you okay? Yes, I'm so sorry. It was my fault for asking that idiot to help me with that prank. I didn't think he was going to do all of that. He didn't mind going extreme with the prank. He only wanted control over it. This was far from control. A prank? He sniffled, looking up from his chest. The torn look in his eyes was what gave Tsukishima all the proof he needed to make his revenge a #1 top priority, and he wouldn't rest until it was done. I'm so sorry. Just forget it. I'm cold. I ran out of home in a panic. The taller looked at his lover's bare arms, seeing he had no jacket and even had mismatched shoes on. He laughed underneath his breath, removing his own jacket and throwing it over the latter's head. He smiled and even jumped up in excitement. Tsukishima wasn't sure why, but the smellers seemed to crave his jackets and hoodies. How did you know where I was? They started walking in the direction home, not even noticing the lack of the setter's presence. Well, Kageyama mentioned a perfume shop, so I just started running. I would have gone to every single one in Miyagi if need be. Or we could call it soulmate intuition. He snickered, teasing the taller successfully. Yeah, we can just call it soulmate intuition. I like that. Kageyama! I have no words. Is it just me, or am I the only one looking forward to his revenge? Yes, but not now. What? I don't see the problem. Karasuno is scary. Not all of us. Some of us like to be morons. Okay, now that kind of hurt. Is she wrong? This is amusing. Agreed. Who knew we'd get so much entertainment? So about that revenge. Yeah, Kageyama, go. I'm dying over here. Well, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. I'm busy. I'll go next. Just don't kill each other while I'm gone. I don't think that can be a promise. Don't worry, I'll make sure there is minimum bloodshed. Alright, that is officially the end of the third part of the Allergy prank. Before I post the fourth part, there is going to be a separate part. If you remember correctly, with the Kokagoshi, it ended on an abrupt note. That single one-shot part, or whatever, that's going to be part of the prank series is Kokagoshi basically, well, not abrupt. So obviously for the fourth part is featuring Lavyaku and Kokagoshi. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you'd like to be kept up to date, check out any of my social medias. I hope that you all have a wonderful day and evening.